Alright, now we're going to go about solving some triangles. So my first situation here, I was given that it looks like this angle right here is 30 degrees, this angle is 100 degrees, and this side here is 7, and I'm asked to find side A, side C, and gamma. So probably the easiest thing to find first is the angle, because if one angle in the triangle is 30 degrees and another is 100, they add together to be 130, and 180 minus 130 is 50. So that lets me know first off that this is going to be 50 degrees up here. So this is 50 degrees. And then as soon as I know that's 50 degrees, that's one of the things they asked me to solve, then I can go ahead and proceed. I know that this angle is 30, and so I know an angle on its opposite side. So I can kind of begin from there. I can say the sine of 30 over 7, sine of 30 over 7, let me make sure you can see that, yep, is equal to, let's say we want to solve for A first, so I'm going to say sine of 100 over A. Sine of 100 over A. And then to proceed to solve this, we're just going to cross multiply, so I get A times sine of 30 is equal to 7 times the sine of 100 degrees. And then to solve for A, I just divide both sides by sine of 30. That way these cancel, and I just get A is equal to whatever I get when I type this in. So I get my calculator, turn it on. Always check your mode. We're in degree mode. It doesn't change automatically, but if you ever clear your memory, it defaults to radians. So we go 7 times sine of 100, enter, divided by sine of 30. And that lets me know that A is 13, if I do two decimal places, 13.79, okay? So I know that that's going to be 13.79. So we already solved for A, we already solved for gamma. The only other thing I need to solve for is C. The angle opposite C is 50 degrees. So I can redo this one. I can say the sine of, let's go ahead and say 30 over 7. The sine of 30 over 7 is equal to the sine of 50 over C. The sine of 50 degrees over C. Okay, and then you just cross multiply and solve. So it'll be C times the sine of 30 is equal to 7 times the sine of 50. And then I just divide both sides by sine of 30. So that I get C is equal to, I'll type in 7 sine 50. Because I don't like to close my parentheses because it seems like I always forget, I just got in the habit of going ahead and hitting enter. And then I'll say divided by sine of 30. And then I get that C is 10.72. 10.72. Okay. After I write all the answers down, I like to think, is this a reasonable situation? We were told that the side opposite 30 degrees was 7. And that appears, that should be the small side because 30 degrees is my smallest angle. So 7 should be the smallest side, which that seems to be true. My biggest angle is 100 degrees and the side opposite that is 13.79, and that is my biggest side. So it kind of makes sense that the biggest side would be opposite the largest angle. So I'm thinking that this is all good. All right, let's look at our next problem here. In this particular problem, we are given, it's a case of side, angle, side, okay? I do not know an angle on its opposite side, so I will not be able to use law of sines. And they ask me to find side B, angle gamma, and angle alpha. So to start with, I'm going to find B, okay? So it's going to be B squared is equal to, it's always these two sides squared and the cosine of that angle. So it'll be 4 squared plus 8 squared minus 2 times 4 times 8 times the cosine of 21 degrees. when you type this in your calculator, you're going to type the whole thing in. So you go 4 squared plus 8 squared minus 2 times 4 times 8 times the cosine of 21 degrees. And I go ahead and hit enter. But remember that's b squared. So then I just hit second square root, second answer. And when I do, then it'll give me 4b. It lets me know that that's about 4.50. 4.50. Okay. Okay. So now actually I know all three sides. If you know all three sides, side, 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 you can find the angles. You could use law of sines, but the misgiving I have is one of these angles could very well be obtuse. And when you use law of sines and you're finding angles, you're never sure exactly which one it is. But if you continue to use law of cosines, it'll absolutely give you the right answer. So I think from here I'm just going to go ahead and try to find alpha. So here's alpha. So I could say the cosine of alpha is equal to, it's going to be this, when you solve for the side, side, side formula of law of cosines, it's a fraction. So when I'm trying to find alpha, it'll be both of these sides squared. So 4.50 squared plus 8 squared minus 4 squared. It's always minus the side that's opposite the angle you're looking for. And that'll be divided by 2 times 4.50 times 8. Okay? So when you type this in the calculator, we're going to go 4.5, I really don't have to say the 0, 4.5 squared plus 8 squared minus 4 squared. And I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. And then it's going to be divided by parentheses 2 times 4.5 times 8, and I hit enter. So this really gives me that the cosine of alpha is equal to 0.9479. Okay, it's not alpha though, it's just what the cosine of alpha is. Okay, so to figure out alpha, I go second cosine, second answer, and I get 18.57 degrees. So alpha is 18.57 degrees. 18.57 degrees. All right, and if I know alpha is that, and I know the other angle was 21, to figure out the answer, I can just go 180 minus that 18.57 minus the 21 degrees that's here. And so that gives me left over 140.43 degrees. So now I've solved another triangle using law of cosines.